All right, guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Grand Prairie PD podcast. I'm your host, Nate, here with nobody. Katie has abandoned me today. And we were going to have a fill-in, but I think somebody came down with something, so it's just me and you today.
Cool.
Bobby. We're here with Officer Bobby. Where are you working?
I'm Days A Patrol.
Very nice. One of the best schedules in the department.
It's a pretty crazy schedule, man. I'm off every other Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So
Every Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
yeah. So I get like Friday, 7 o'clock rolls around, I go home. I got a regular weekend like everyone else, and it's a pretty easy schedule. Then I still have the days off in the week to actually,
Right, yeah.
go get stuff done.
Yeah, that's the thing with my schedule is I had the weekends, but then especially working overtime, I wound up I don't have any more weekdays. So I always tell Demetria or my wife, if you could edit that this time, please. I always tell my wife that I think about going back to patrol, but it's like, man, the freaking because those weekdays are so tempting.
Yeah, I didn't know how important they were. So when I came here from my other agency and had to do the lateral academy.
Lateral. Yeah.
Yeah. So we all of a sudden I went back. I've been working shift work since I was 19. So all of a sudden I'm in my 30s and going back to like Saturday, Sunday off, and it's like go to the grocery store and there's lines everywhere. And
Dude, it sucks.
Go to the movies, lines. Everywhere you go, just full of people. I was like, man, I miss having a Tuesday afternoon off to get everything done.
Yeah. Now, and you work nights too, and you wind up like there's no traffic. Most people are gone. You're the only people you're really dealing with are like the bad guys or the people who are calling you. So you have that like isolated type existence at work. And then you get off and you're off during you're doing your shopping at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're going to eat or whatever. You're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And you forget how many people there actually
you
are.
You miss all the traffic, all the crowds. Yes. And then all of a sudden you got Saturday, Sunday off, and remember why you work.
Yep.
Nights and have weekdays off.
Yep. And speaking of traffic, excuse me. You live down south, right?
Yeah.
Did it seem to you like there was just a buttload more traffic pre-COVID? Like I felt like I left 15 minutes earlier than I do now. Because there was just traffic. And then once COVID hit, it went away, and it's like it never fully came back. It doesn't feel like.
It definitely doesn't seem the same.
Yeah.
So it used to be, seemed like it used to be a lot worse. I guess people are still telecommuting a lot and not having to all rush out at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we moved, because it was taking me like an hour and a half to get into work. And so
Where were you living?
So when I worked in Roanoke, I lived up there.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was before they widened the turnpike and before they widened 360. So man, I was leaving at like 4 o'clock for my 6 p.m. shift.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was rough. So I'd leave 4:15 at the latest, take hour and a half to get here, change, work a 12-hour shift, and take me an hour to get home in the morning. So it was rough.
No, you get like 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
because you got to wake up and
at the most. And that's if you got off on time, because days isn't super well known for getting logged in quickly. So
that's true.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock.
Right.
10 o'clock in the morning when you're actually getting home, and the sun's been up for a while. I'd be nice and awake by that point, and it was a rough existence. So
that sucks, man. Yeah, when I was on nights, I lived in the city, and that was the best because you get like 10 minutes to the end of your shift, you kind of start just drifting that general direction.
Yeah, I do the same thing. So nights pretty good about getting logged in. So and the nights dispatchers are good about
holding stuff.
Yeah, so as long as it's not, if they're new, they'll send us to stuff late because they're just following their SOPs. But if they're not training and it's not a priority 1 or priority 2, they'll usually let it hold if it's the last 15 to 30 minutes. So I'll start drifting towards the house, and so I went from like a 12-hour shift would actually take me 14, 15 hours of my day to I leave 20, 30 minutes before work, and I'm usually home logging out
right around
close to the house. So
yeah,
it's pretty nice.
That's awesome. Are you in the city now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you get to take home and everything?
Yeah, still got
How
to
does
take
that
home.
work?
So if you're in the city, doesn't matter what unit you're in, you get a take-home car.
Okay.
And you kind of get
apply for y'all too? Really? Oh wow, I didn't know that. I thought it was Bowling Patrol.
Yeah, no. As
First
far as
city.
I understand, as long as you're in the city, it doesn't matter what unit you're in. You get
That's
a take-home
awesome.
car, and then if you're on a on-call unit, depends on the unit. So
Right, yeah.
like I made SWAT into last year, so they passed take-homes for SWAT team members. I don't know if there's a limit on how far they can live.
Yeah.
Other units like I don't. Are y'all still doing it for property crimes?
I forget what the exact. It's some kind of mileage.
Yeah.
thing.
So some of the other on-call units, like I know Sergeant Greisinger doing negotiator. He gets one
Oh, cool.
all the way out where he lives.
Very
But
cool.
some of them, like I think the canines, they still have like a mileage restriction on how far out they can live. But no, that's pretty nice, especially when gas starts creeping up over $3.
Yeah, that's not a lie.
You know, because we can use them to go to the gym, go to the store.
Very
you know,
cool.
So I don't really drive with my wife very often, but you know,
Right.
most of my other errands, especially like the weekday stuff
Yeah.
that she's at work and I'm at home, I'll just hop in my squad car and
Yeah.
go run around town and you know save myself from having to spend as much on my personal car.
Yeah, I had one for a while. I was always too paranoid because I was like, man, as soon as I get in this thing, something's gonna happen, or whatever. And it's like I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, and sure enough, the first time I drove it, I forget what I was doing, but I was driving towards the station, and a guy in front of me is just like swerving, and I was like, no, come on, it's like 2 p.m.
Please no.
Like, what are you doing? And you're in a squad car. You can't just go like, oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And dude just hits a curb, destroys his front wheel. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. So I hop out of the car on a guy that I'm fairly certain is going to be drunk. And I'm in shorts and a T-shirt and flip-flops, which is typically what I'm wearing when I'm not at work. And I got fortunate. When I'm not being drunk, it was just I think it was somebody just texting. But
Yeah. Well, that's what, like, yeah, I kind of always make sure I'm wearing, like, most of the time I'm using it, like, go to the gym or something, so
Yeah.
I'll be in, like, workout clothes, but at least, you know, I always make sure to put shoes on just in case, because you're right, man.
More
I've been
prepared than
in,
me.
I think I've been in, like, 3 pursuits now where I wasn't on shift, but
kidding.
I was, one of them I was going to court, one of them
oh hell yeah,
I was in
Get out of
training.
court and get in a chase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. Like 7:30 in the morning, I'm going to Dallas County, and Emery's chasing someone right by the station, and
Hell yeah.
I was like, he drives by me, and I just hop in behind him. I'm like, all
This is a
right,
lot more fun.
I'll do this. So
That's funny.
yeah, it's so yeah, I think I've had 3 now, not on duty, and just right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Have you ever had one where you're wearing like gym clothes?
No. So one was I was in training and I was going home for lunch. One I was going to course. I was still in uniform for that one. The training one I was in like khakis and a polo kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
I can't remember. I wasn't in gym clothes. I can't remember what the third one was, but yeah, I usually have, you know, throw my vest in the back seat,
Right,
so
yeah.
you know, if I can hop out, throw it on real quick, and at least have a gun and badge and
Yeah.
armor.
That's wrong with a little impromptu overtime.
Yeah, no,
Happening in a fun way.
I'm always down for some fun.
Yeah.
That's what it's funny you bring that up. So we're using the Keller Natatorium this week we were in SWAT training.
Okay.
And
Oh yeah, no, 'cause that's one of the days that Matt, or one of the weeks that Matt just doesn't come to work.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got a former Navy SEAL that's on our team.
Right.
And so like this time of year we're doing like swim training.
He probably loves the water.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, he's like a fish, man.
Yeah.
And so like he was like, yeah, let's start doing swim training. It's hot outside. Like let's start doing some.
And you hear that, like hell yeah.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
Get in a pool.
No one's complaining.
Yeah.
But so we've been using the Mansfield one, but I guess they were booked up this week, so we had to drive up to Keller, and
I heard that's so nice. I haven't been yet though.
yeah, it's pretty nice. But the Keller one's super nice too.
Really?
But so like, but we're doing like training, like you're in like BDUs and your whatever shoes boots or shoes you wear.
Yeah, they take a
So,
swimming
like,
pool and he makes it not fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's
like
like you get to swim, but you can't get in dress first.
yeah. So all our clothes are drenched, right?
Yeah.
And so like hop back into my squad. I at least brought flip flops so I didn't have to wear wet shoes
Yeah.
on the way back. But I'm sitting there, so Had a dry T-shirt that I brought, but I'm wearing my swim trunks and flip flops, driving all the way back from Keller. I'm like, man,
This would be the day.
If something happened, and of course my swim trunks are like they're Miami tiger stripes, so it's like the same color blue as your shirt with like pink tiger stripe. Yeah, it's like super goofy shorts.
That's a trend lately.
Yeah,
Like I've always been I thought I was edgy. I've always been a fan of like brighter swim trunks. I like flamingos are my thing. Like I am a complete cliche like dad on vacation. Half the stuff I own probably or am taking on vacation has flamingos on it in some way.
Nice.
If I have a drink, it's probably got an umbrella. Like I'm very cliche.
just live the life, man.
Yeah, I always go to the bar and like, what do you want to drink? I'll take a Bahama Mama. Sorry.
I'm married and got kids. Like I don't need to look good for anyone.
Exactly. But dude, I've been seeing guys lately that not just swim trunks. Because swim trunks, I feel like swimming is like golf. There's no real rules. Like you can look like a 1970s pimp and you're fine. But people are wearing like in workout shorts.
Yeah.
Just these loud, random like cartoon characters and stuff on there. I don't know if it's like this. I'm not talking if you do it.
No,
But-
I do, but it is. You're right.
I don't know if it's like this. I don't know if it's like drawing a compare. Like I'm a big tough dude, but also I wear the brighter
I
stuff.
think it's just fun. Like livens it up a little bit.
That's
so.
true. It does.
It's because I'm not big or tough, and I still enjoy them. So it's
Yeah,
that's
fair.
Just a fun way to. But until you're in a squad car, 30 miles away from your city, and something
Right.
pops off, then you're like, maybe that wasn't a good choice.
Yeah. And maybe he won't take me serious with SpongeBob on, but I have a right, so maybe
Yeah.
he will.
Well, we can make it work.
Yeah. Now in patrol, do you do FTO or anything?
So I did FTO for about 10 years total. I stopped doing it. I can't remember. I think it was last summer. I stopped doing it.
A recruit that was that bad, or you just need a break?
All of it. So I'd kind of got a reputation for being like the guy that they gave the recruits that were struggling to.
Oh, I hate that.
It was like it was good in a sense that like they trusted me with that,
Sure.
but the other side is like I went 9 months straight with a recruit in my car, and that is just
That's
painful. Yeah. So after a while, man, I got wore down, and especially like when you're getting the guys that are struggling, like there's not a lot of good days there because like the whole reason they're coming to me is because they're already in remedial or they've already been to remedial twice and they're like on the chopping block and they're it's like so like best case scenario the guy's not going to be where they should be, like they might not fail but you're still like every call you're like having to document everything down to the letter and like
and just being an FTO with a decent rookie
it's still
is
stressful.
exhausting.
Yeah. So and then when you don't get any breaks, it's just like man, you get to the
9
point.
months is a
like,
long time.
Yeah,
because normally it's what you have the couple month period where you have a class in FTO and then you have a break for a while. Usually good 4, 5, 6 months at least.
Yeah, typically like a phase can be anywhere from depending on like lateral phases are. I think their longest one's only 3 weeks, and then the midterm and ghost is a week. Basics, I think the longest one's 4 weeks, and then the midterm and ghost, I think, are both 2 weeks. Oh, okay. So it kind of depends on when you get them. So you can go for a month with a recruit, but then you'll have, usually you might only have one recruit out of that class because our class has been kind of small lately.
Right. Yeah.
So if you got 4 or 5 recruits, and I think we have close to 30 FTOs.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's cool.
You shouldn't have one stacked up like that, but the way it worked out for a while, I was just getting hammered with them, and it finally just got to the point. It's like, man, I gotta take a break for a little while. So.
Yeah. Well, you want to when you're an FTO, your primary job is not doing the things you like to do as a police officer because policing is something that there's so many different ways to do this job, both in just your style, how you think it should be done, but also like what your tastes are. Like generally like I would be out pulling traffic, looking for, drugs and that kind of stuff. When I was on patrol, there's other guys who go out there and do nothing but look for stolen cars. Some guys who like to just answer calls or do, traditional traffic enforcement like speed and that kind of stuff. You don't get to do that when you're an FTO.
No, it's like
not about you.
You've got a list of goals you need to get done, and
Right.
Rarely do you have the time to get it done. So it's like, all right, we got to get all this knocked out today, and none of it's going to be stuff you want to do. It's
Right.
like, you got to teach them how to use the computer, or like they need this specific kind of report.
The admin
so,
shit sucks.
Yeah, and that's what it's kind of one of those things. Like in an ideal world, we would restructure the program. I mean, and we follow the same model that everyone else does, but that model is getting kind of outdated. And like, I think an average like basic FTO's close to 4.5 months, something like that. Okay. And anymore, man, that's like you're just learning how to work a computer and like the technical side of it, and you're getting very little of the real world side of it. And
which is funny because you would think coming in that especially these younger generations and our generation would be much more spun up on the technology side.
Yeah, I think it's more so it's just like we have so many procedures that we have to follow. It's like I haven't had any that struggle with computers. It's just that like you got to follow the steps in order, and you got to teach them like this step, and you can't skip this one, or if you do, we got to go back and start back at that step, and it's just getting the procedure down. And man, it's like 4 months sounds like a long time, but with the amount of information they have to learn, it's
so much the admin information wants I think kind of get pushed to the back of the brain in favor of the stuff on the street.
Yeah,
because you're told X, Y, and Z can get you killed on the street or get somebody else killed, and then you go out there and it's like, yes, that's all true, but there's so much more to like the investigative side of things.
Oh, it kills you, man, because it's like this guy's trying to figure out like, okay, how am I going to write? I'm on a domestic, and I need to learn how to like gather the information to write this report, and they'll be thinking through all the steps they need to take to get the report done. Well, in the meantime, they're missing all the real life stuff of like what actually happened, or like that this guy's a threat to me because he's giving me all the indicators that he's about to fight me. And that's where it's rough, and that's where like even if you're a computer whiz, like we're dumping all that other extra stuff onto that, and it's hard for your.
I imagine it's got to be kind of like doing like maybe like a much higher stress like live TV show, because it's like once that situation's done, it's done. You're not like you can't. Oh, hang on, can I replay this part? I mean, you have the body cam, but if you, which I'm curious what your thought process is on that, but if you miss something or you don't ask something, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's not only in the sense that, hey, you're packing up and leaving, but like say you're talking to a suspect, once they're under arrest, that's
you're kind of done at that point. Yeah.
You're not, the only option to talk to them is to Mirandize them, read them the rights, which generally detectives don't, like unless you're super confident you're going to get them to.
Yeah, because if you Mirandize them and they want a lawyer, now they're no one can talk to them for a couple. What is it, like 2 weeks or something?
Unless they reinitiate contact.
Yeah. Well, but if they're in jail, it's kind of hard to do that.
Probably
so,
not, yeah.
And same thing with victims, man. So like even if they miss something with the victim, like as well as I do, as soon as we leave there, 9 times out of 10, that victim's not going to give us any more, especially on like disturbances, assault, stuff like that. If it's like it's a BMV, usually it's pretty easy to call them back and be like, hey man, I forgot to ask you this. What time did you get home last night or something? They're like, oh yeah, I got home at 10:30. But usually on a disturbance, a domestic, like once you leave and they start running through their mind all the like, oh man, if my husband goes to jail and I'm not making enough to support, pay the mortgage, send the kids to school, put food on the table. Like as soon as those thoughts start kicking in, like the chances of recontacting that person, especially working nights, like 3 o'clock in the morning, they just had the worst night of their life. They're racked out trying to get some sleep, or they're worried about the kids now, and like getting any of that follow up information's almost impossible. Yeah. So and that's part of what adds to the stress of being a recruit is like you got to get all this information, you got to not die, and then if you forget anything, like it's just done. Like you're probably not going to get that information. So
and being graded,
Oh
man.
yeah, and then you got someone standing there grading you the whole time too.
How was lateral FTO for you?
It was pretty chill for me. So I got lucky. You know, I had 9 years on before I even came here. So like I was pretty like well versed in like just general police work.
Right.
And so I came from Roanoke to here, and so like our reports pretty much the same. Like our narratives, a lot of the same information. They didn't try to like put a new narrative style on me or anything like that. And then so my first FTO was Libran, and he was a lateral also.
Yeah, super relaxed.
So it was super laid back, chill dude. And then I think Granbury was my second phase.
Okay.
So again, that dude's 40 years on the job and like knows it front and back. And so it was more of like it was pretty chill. It was almost I want to say it was like riding 2-man, but it was like he wasn't having to teach me to be a cop. He was just having to teach me like, make sure you get this form or give them that form or make sure we do this part of the report or like you got to go to this tab to get to this tab to fill that information, that kind of stuff. So it as a lateral, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I had real relaxed FTOs, but I think I bring a lot of the stress to myself because like I was raised at home. Like the only grades we got in school was an A or an F. Like if you don't have an A, you're failing. And so I kind of take that approach to a lot of things. And so I would get dinged on something that's like, because I had 4 years, which isn't a whole lot, but in the environment I was working in, I felt like officer safety, that kind of stuff, I'm still alive. I got all that figured out. Yeah. But like we're talking about, everyone does things a little bit differently. So your FTOs are noticing little things, and I'm like, God damn it, like, that's not messed. Or at the one time I got told that I was reading my DOR over the shoulder of my FTO as he's typing it, and he's like, if a rookie, whatever OIT had a really good day until he left his pistol in the locker in the jail. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, you don't have to lie. And he turns around and looks at me like I'm. And I look down, and I'm like, oh, I still don't have my gun. Ooh. And I was like, I've already been a cop at that point for like 4 years.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard one to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do it though.
Can't argue with it.
It's like that's one of those like it's not if, it's when. Cause
for sure.
I haven't worked with anyone that hadn't done that at least once.
Dude, we always put them in our trunk.
That's why you put it in your trunk. So when you realize it, you hop out and get it out of the trunk.
We always put them in our trunk whenever at my old agency. But there's something magical about those lockers that we have that just forces you to forget.
So I learned to leave it in my squad because at my last agency we used the county jail, which was about 30 minutes away, 40 minutes, depending on traffic.
Right.
And I got all the way back to the city one day and I had left it locked in the county jail locker.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that was a fast drive back to.
Were you on a call when you realized it?
No, so luckily I was driving back into the city and was marking back into service and like something clicked and I was like, oh crap, it's at the county. Yeah.
Nice.
And then it's like, man, now I got to drive 30 minutes all the way back up to county lockup to get my gun.
And hope nothing happens on the way.
Hope nothing happens, and that when you get to county lockup, they're not looking at you and being like, well, that car was just here. Like,
Oh, no, I was on the phone.
No, I just had to go get coffee. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. You do your job, I'll do mine.
I'm going to sneak in and get something out of this locker. Don't pay attention.
Right. I got this stupid-ass partner. I'm getting it for him.
Yeah, one of those things.
I've heard some funny stories though about guys like being on disturbances and like because we always kind of, at least me, I always put my hand on my gun, just not because I'm ready to pull my gun out, but just it's a thing to kind of rest your hand on.
Arms get heavy, man. Like it's part of it. Yeah.
And then they're sitting there talking to somebody, or they're thinking about getting in a fight, or they're like in a potentially dangerous situation. They put their hand on the holster, and it's like, ooh, it's empty.
Yeah, that's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
And that's why I said everyone does it, usually just once, because you don't realize it till you need it.
God,
or
you never forget it.
Yeah, or you're on a call and you're like, oh my God, it's not there. Like, I gotta. So you just tell your partner, like, bro, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
You gotta take.
Yeah, sure. That's
right now.
That's exactly what it is.
Have you ever had a rookie do that?
Oh, all of them do it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never did.
Yeah, every single time there. Especially if you get them in like first phase. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're going to go into the jail and like you're going to start breaking that. So I got a touch of the ADD, right? So I don't.
I'll tell you.
Luckily, I'm good there. I don't have any of the artistic skills, but like if I don't get it out now, I'll forget.
Right.
So like I'm not one like I don't do everything at the end of the shift and be like, okay, this is what you missed on this call. This is what you missed on this call. It's like as we're going through. I might wait till the end of the call,
right?
Just to not break up their thought process. But I'm very much like, we got to talk about it now, or I'm going to forget about it.
Right.
And so usually like while we're at the jail, because you're just standing around waiting for them to book in your prisoner anyways, it's like you start breaking down the call and what they did well, what they did, what could be improved. Sometimes just straight up what they whiffed on and missed. And so like you start engaging them in conversation, and next thing you know they're by the fence writing a report, and they're like, oh crap.
That's what I was going to ask. How long you let it run?
I don't ever let them like leave the station just because like what we were talking about earlier. Like I've been in 3 pursuits, not even on duty. Like if you're in a squad car, like it's gonna happen. Like you're just at one point you're just gonna be like trying to get into McDonald's parking lot to get a hamburger, and this Faustino had that shootout down on GSW. He's literally trying to go write his report at the mall, and some dude's carjacking someone in the middle of GSW.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Like it happens that fast.
Dude,
like,
it's wild the stuff that happens when you're in a uniform or in a squad car, and you can't like people. Obviously, a lot of different misconceptions about police work, but one thing people don't realize is how often like you're just want to go write a report.
Yeah.
Like, please, nothing bad happened right now, or I just want to go eat.
Yeah.
Or I want to go use the restroom.
I just need to make it to QT, and
if I could just get an ice drink, and the shit that happens all around you and in front of you that you can't avoid. Like, people don't realize how much we want to avoid things.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone like has this image that we're always out hunting and doing. And sometimes we are, but a lot of times it's just like
but you're not going to roll up on it while you're looking for it. It's always it's
ever.
It's
no,
true.
Yeah, you just told your buddies, we're gonna go eat, and then that car drives by. You're like,
Now I'm just going to go to the mall, write my report, and
carjacking.
There's a carjacking right in front of me. So.
I wish it would happen off duty. Like, just so you could watch, be like, well, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just have fun and watch how this goes down. But no.
That's what I was working that day that Poor watched a shootout right in front of them. So they had a fight at the high school, and so they kicked everyone that was fighting out. Well, they took the fight to the street. So they're going down Carrier, get stuck at the light at Jefferson, and so one guy goes up to the other car, starts like punching the dude in the back seat, and someone just pulls out a gun in the middle of traffic and starts cracking rounds off, and Pours like 3 or 4 cars behind him, so he can't get up there. He's not close enough to engage him,
right?
Because it's
that traffic. From the car, it's hard to do anyway.
Traffic right there sucks, and so he gets on the radio and he's like, I don't remember his call sign, but can't even barely get his call sign. He's like, there's people shooting right in front of me. It's like,
you're not gonna believe this.
It's like, where you at? It's like, I'm on Carrier. It's like, there's a big street, bro. Like, narrow it down a little bit. I think he was even on the wrong channel. So because like I usually scan on my in-car radio, scan both channels, and so like because I was working that sector, but it was like. He keyed up on South, so he's like, I'm on Carrier, people shooting, starts giving out descriptions and stuff. But like once he finally gave the location, I'm like, I'm right around the corner from that. Yeah. But it like no one else on North was even like scanning. So like then he switches over to North, and it was.
That's funny. He's like, they're gone. Never mind.
Yeah. There.
I would love to have seen that. Four's a trip.
Yeah, it was someone found like. Instagram videos where like other cars in traffic were like videotaping it, and like, it was wild. I was like
that's insane.
Damn. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Luckily no one got hit because it's 2 lanes, right? So it's like opens up to 3 lanes so you can go on to Jefferson, east or west, but they were further back like under the bridge. So it's like 2 lanes with curbs and then the bridge pillars and like traffic all the way back to Fort Worth Street.
That's amazing.
And then northbound traffic's driving by while it
Right.
all starts cracking off. It's like, man, I don't know how no one got hurt during all that, but
No kidding.
yeah, luckily everyone made it out just fine.
And I wonder if he's going to lunch.
I don't no, I think it was pretty early. It was like,
Well, so he's a detective, so you may not realize this. We have first lunch, second lunch.
yeah, it might have been second breakfast to first lunch. Yeah.
We don't actually do that, but that is a common stereotype. So obviously you've been a cop for a while.
Yeah, so I finished 16 years this year, and
wow.
did 3 years dispatching before that.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, technically I can retire next summer. Like,
Ooh.
technically, I can't afford it, but
yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were like, they were lateral, and like, because they asked me how long I had till I could retire, and which is a wild conversation to be a part of. I remember being a rookie and sitting there listening to, like, you go to breakfast with the FTO, and they're all talking about retirement, and they can do this and that. I'm like, gosh, shut up! I just want to go chase people.
yeah.
But now, like, people are talking, like, use the retirement word and like talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not old. But he was talking about how, I was like, I can't use any of my previous time. Like, I don't count that because I started here over because it's a different retirement system. And he was like, yeah, no, he's giving me someone's email to reach out to because I guess you can use that time towards your, I don't know how it works.
So like my dispatch time's the same. It was for a university. So it's under TRS, which is still a state retirement system, but it's not the same as what we're in here.
Right.
So I can get credit for it for the time, but I don't get the money for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, so if I retired, I'm not, but if I retired next summer when I hit 20, I'd only have 17 years in TMRS.
Gotcha.
So and then credit for 3 additional years. So like
That's ours.
Yeah.
I guess not a bad thing to get credit for.
No, like I would recommend it. Like you're in the same boat. Like
Yeah.
your time from your last agency, you can get credit for the time,
Just not the money.
just not the money. Yeah. So
I wonder if you could up your contributions.
the only way you can is like what Carlos does and just work a whole bunch of overtime.
Sure.
So you can't change the 7% that you can contribute.
Right.
Now you could do like other retirement accounts like
That's true.
deferred comp or 401s, anything like that. But
That matching we get, though, is nice.
oh yeah, that's
amazing.
huge.
Yeah.
Well, and like what a lot of people don't realize, like I've been talking to a lot of the guys coming from California, like it's a true annuity. So like it never runs out. Like because once your money's gone, like you're still living on the same retirement that's coming from the investments that all the other contributors
right.
are making. So like if I retired next year, I wouldn't even be 40 years old. But I would draw that same amount of money until I die, next 40 plus years of my life, hopefully.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty amazing
I
system.
didn't know that. I thought it ran out.
No, like TMRS, you will never. I mean, short of like full market collapse or something, but
Right.
it's kind of like Social Security. Like, so we're paying in now, and that money is making interest.
Ukraine.
Yeah. Hopefully not the money from our
Leave that in
retirement. But, yeah. But yeah, so like we're all paying into the same pool, and then that money's paying the guys that are currently retired.
Gotcha.
So like, yeah, you can get onto TMRS's website and it'll tell you like, your contributions will expire. Like you'll run through that in the first 5 years of retirement, and then the city's contributions you'll run out of that in the next 10 years after that. And if you make it that long, then you're just living on, what other people are contributing, and it's making the interest and all that. That's what's nice about it, because like 90+% of the state's all in the same retirement account. So
That's interesting. I did not know that.
yeah,
I logged in one time, and my I kind of did like some loose math before I logged in, and had an idea of what I thought I was going to be looking at, and I was looking at a fraction of that. I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, it doesn't.
Maybe that's too. But
it's
then
not
didn't,
worth it.
Didn't have any of the matching in there, and I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, yeah, it's not worth it. I mean, 25 years kind of starts to get decent. You really got especially if you started young.
Yeah. You get 30 plus, man. It's not.
Yeah, you get into that 30 to somewhere between 30 and 35 usually, depending on like when you started. You're about at 100% of your take home at that point.
Yeah.
And
which is an important part of taking care of yourself and not not developing some of the bad habits that we tend to develop.
bad habits, bad health. Yeah, that's why I'm fighting so hard for the vest. Not fighting because I don't have opposition necessarily, but that's why I'm so adamant about the vest carriers. Like,
you don't have to lie. It's okay.
This is all recorded. It's like, so my dad did 40 years and his back is ruined, and he can't walk more than a few hundred yards right now because he basically, like, his nerve, when he stands up and walks, there's a nerve that pinches and cuts off the blood flow to his legs.
I believe it. Yeah.
So the doctor's like, the only fix is to fuse his back from like the top of his neck all the way down to his hips, because it's got to like correct his hips.
Right.
And even his doctor's like, yeah, it's indicative of wearing weight on your hips all the time.
Yep.
You talk to any chiropractor, they'll tell you the same thing. Like, that's you all have the same problems, you all have the same complaints, and you all are ruining your hips. Like,
you don't need a doctor to tell you. I mean, you wear it for a period. I mean, I haven't worn it every day for the last 4 years, and still, I mean, like, that's one of the reasons I started swimming and going to sauna and stuff like that, because it alleviates some of that pain. But yeah, I'll work a weekend at the lake where I'm wearing my belt again, and dude, by the end of it, it's hurting to get in the car.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you put it on, everything just hurts already. It's like,
and it's just it's like two spots right back here.
Yeah,
hills. But they sent out that survey about the outer carriers. I got kind of bummed because I opened the survey, and it had a picture of like that uniform looking one with no molly, no ability to bear a load. It was just a uniform. And I was like, I don't care about that at all. Like, I'll just wear a normal vest.
Yeah.
But then the questions made it sound like they are looking like, what would you carry on it? Like a taser or a radio? I was like, okay, cool. Like,
yeah, I did mine on the phone, so it didn't load whatever picture you're talking about. But the one, so I'm doing the wear test, and it's it's the Angel Armor one that it's got. So the top half is still kind of uniform looking. It's like it's got uniform pockets, buttons, and mic tab on the top.
Okay.
And then the bottom half is Molly.
Oh, of course.
So
cool.
So depending on how you want to wear it, I still carry everything, and I can get everything off my belt onto my vest, minus my gun itself.
Okay. So yeah, I plan to, if we do get to do it, I would ideally carry my pistol and my pistol mags on my belt, and everything else will be.
Yeah, the current setup I have is taser and gun on the belt, and then everything else is on the vest. And that's just because, so we'll have the ability, or that vest has the ability to, like, the side panels have Molly too.
Cool.
So you can put stuff on the side, your non-gun side, but then it's like when you're driving around, like,
it's weird.
If you're doing something where you're working like a foot beat, like you at the cricket stadium or something, it's not a big deal because your arms are to your side. But when you're driving all day and stuff's poking into your armpit, it gets a little annoying. So I took the stuff off the sides. It's all like centered on the front and taser. And
have you noticed a difference in the comfort?
Yeah, it's my hips feel so much better. My back feels so much better. My workouts are improving. Good. Like when I get off, I'm not just ball of cramped muscles. So like actually get off work and want to go do stuff after work now instead of just laying on the couch
trying to pop your back.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I get. Chief made a comment about not looking, and you don't want to look like a uber tack bro all the time for every reason. I was surprised that they didn't. I'm surprised that they're hanging on to the whole keeping the uniform look. 'Cause to me that looks kind of goofy. But I was surprised they didn't look at like just requiring that things be covered. Because like you have the little holster I have for my taser is covered. Like it has a little flap that covers it. And you could have all the tack stuff in the world you want on there, but then you have a little flap that covers it. It's going to look sleeker and more streamlined.
Well, and that's what's cool about the Angel Armor setup is like each pouch comes with, you can run an open top. They have like a an elastic band that clips on the front,
Okay.
or the flap like you're talking about. So
Is it the one with the little magnet at the?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the same
yeah,
one.
so it just gives it a cleaner look.
Yeah.
And that's what like I agree with Chief. Like, it's something my dad always taught me. Like, if you want to be treated like a professional, you have to act and look like a professional, right? So if you show up in a ball cap and shorts and tennis shoes, like you're going to be treated like
Bike patrol.
yeah, you're going to be treated like someone that's wearing a ball cap and shorts. Like, so like I fully agree with like we still need to present ourselves well and look good and have a uniform appearance.
Sure.
The only difference like between like Chief's outlook and my outlook is like I think you can still achieve that with the vest carriers.
Right.
So now some of them like I'm right there with them. Like they look bad and you know if you don't have like a uniform carrier and you can just put whatever you want wherever you want and you know you got Molly all the way up to the neckline.
Right.
You know people will find.
Dude, people will find stupid ways.
You'll find yeah. Well, that's what on the Angel Armor we're ordering it with a because it has Molly on both panels on the sides, and like the first thing I said was like gun sight has to be slick because somebody is going to put a quad handcuff pouch right over the top of their gun and not be able to do anything. So.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of you run it how it works for you. When it comes to performance, destandardizing as much as things as reasonably possible, because everyone works a little bit differently. Everyone has their own different habits. Like there's a lot of guys who run pistol mags on vests. That'll never work for me. I just got trained early. They were on my belt. I'm always going to go back to my belt, so I run them there. But cops, especially young cops, have to look cool, and they have to find new ways to look cool, and they will push the envelope.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's why that's what's nice about this carrier is that like we can do what you can do as an officer, like how you want it set up. Like you can have the gear where you want the gear, but like uniform pouches, uniform carrier. Like if you want to arrange it however you want to arrange it, but you got to use those pouches to arrange it.
Yeah, so, I like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good way. And then if you want it on your belt, still carry it on your belt.
Sure.
If you want it on your vest, it's got to be in like that approved pouch. Like, and that's what keeps you from having guys, show up with the Amazon special pouches that look goofy.
Which will still happen.
Hopefully not, but
yeah. It will. You'll have to smack a couple of them. And,
yeah. So hopefully not. Hopefully they'll at least hold off long enough to let it get approved first.
Well, I mean, it's always easier to say, screw you, I'm not going to change. Like, it's always easier. It's easier for us to do that. It's easier for people in chain of command to do that. It's easier for people in the community to do that. But I think, especially this particular subject, because I tend to take a kind of old school approach to, like, my views on professionalism and the way things look. Like tattoos, for instance, I'm not going to have my tattoos showing. I don't think it's a good look. That being said, I don't necessarily think that we should tell other people that they can't do it.
Yeah.
But the difference for me there is your issue, your underlying issue isn't health. If a guy gets told, hey, you got to wear long sleeves, like, okay, whatever. But if we can prioritize health over professional fashion choice, I appreciate the fact that we're doing that. We're going in that direction.
That's why, like, I'm not waving a banner for beards and tattoos. Like, if we have them, like, cool. But I'm the same boat as you. Like, I wear long sleeves on patrol because it's like healthier because skin cancer is a very real thing.
Yep.
But also same thing. I don't like showing my tattoos to everybody. Right. So it's like I wear long sleeves, and with the technology and fabric these days, like we're wearing that ripstop. I think it's as comfortable, if not better, than short sleeves anyway. So, but it's not that's a preference thing. So like, and I'm the same thing. Like, if we have tattoos and beards, like, cool. If that helps recruiting, like, even better.
Yeah.
Like, personally, I it's not a look that I think looks as good, but I don't think it looks bad. It's just not.
Well, and what you just said hit it on the head with it's a recruiting issue. So like I view like outer carriers as a completely separate issue from like a beard or tattoos or whatever the case is. beards and tattoos for me, that's a hey, or do we have issues recruiting? Do people who have these things not have issues recruiting? Is this possibly the bridge?
Yeah.
And I think you're going to have more and more issues like that the further along in this generation of policing we get, because so many employers on the civilian side you're no longer taking the approach of, hey, you're lucky to work here. It's very much how can a corporation or department or whatever reduce our footprint in your personal life, because that's what our generation and this new generation prioritizes. So eventually I think you'll have to entertain things that, me or you might not be crazy about. But yeah, no, I'm very glad that we are the carrier issue to me is an issue of the wellness that we preach all the time.
Because that's like the biggest impact on my personal life from this job, I would say, is my back problems.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, if that will alleviate a lot of those problems, like, because going to the gym, losing weight, all that stuff, if you're still putting that gun belt on, like, that might be helping, but it's not solving the problem.
Yeah, no, you can't put 25, 30 pounds on your waist every day. And
12 hours a day, sometimes longer, and then, pick up an overtime or off-duty job on your days off. Yeah, it's crushing people, so.
Yeah, I was encouraged to see the survey come out, because I stay kind of disconnected from a lot of the chatter I get, being off the street. So I didn't know if there was. I knew they were going to talk about it, but I didn't know if there was much movement.
It was actually pretty surprising. So that carrier was the first one that Chief has seen that he actually has thought about allowing us to wear, because like right before that he had actually pulled the ones from a lot of the other units wearing it. So like I went to that meeting not expecting anything. Like I talked to Ryan. I was like, man, if he just says he'll consider thinking about it, like that's a win for me, because like up to that point it was just no, it's not going to happen. And in fact, like I was so nervous going into that meeting with him that I carried it in a bag, because I wasn't going to wear it. I didn't want to wear it walking down the halls in front of like all the traffic guys that just lost theirs. I was like, man, I put that thing in a bag and snuck into Chief's office and put it on then. So so Chief was like, yeah, okay, that one actually like looks professional, looks good. He's like, let's wear test it for a couple months. I was like,
okay,
are you sure? Because
you're like at home or on duty?
Yeah. I was like, my wife's going to get tired of seeing me walking around the living room in this, but I was like, Chief, let me make sure I'm hearing this right, because like the second I walk out this door, like it's out of my control. Like, and sure enough, like, his office is, same floor as the locker room. Like, by the time I got to the locker room, I was already getting mobbed by people. There's like probably 10 or 12 guys in the locker room, like checking it out and asking questions. So I was like, Chief, the second I open this door and walk out, like, it's out of my hands. He's like, no, let's go. Called DC Zacharias and was like, hey, Freeman's go wear test this for a couple months. It's approved. I was like, all right, sweet. So
nice.
It's pretty exciting.
That's fantastic. I do wish I could have a beard though.
Yeah, I'll probably grow one out just to do it. I don't know how long it'll last, especially when the heat index is 114.
That's true. Yeah.
It's painful.
They do look bad in uniform though. Well, let me rephrase that. 50% of them look bad in uniform.
Yeah, those are probably people that don't need beards in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. I will say pet peeve of mine is honor guard uniforms.
Yeah.
Nobody gets to have a beard in honor guard uniform.
I think that's
I don't
fair.
care what your policy is.
Yeah, that's not a good look for honor guard.
No, I agree. Well, Carlos has given me the old watch tap. So I actually enjoyed this. We didn't talk. I enjoyed it because of this. We didn't talk about personal life at all. We didn't talk about your history at all. Hopefully, Chief isn't like we're just bullshit. Whatever. Well, Bobby, appreciate you doing this. All right, guys. Well, until next time.
Cool.
Hopefully that wasn't.